Hi, class and professor. I know you probably are thinking, is she there? Obviously, if you can hear me, I am. I am just getting off of work not too long ago, and I don't want to scare you with my appearance. So I would rather you focus on what I have to say. So anyway, good afternoon, everybody. I have actually two passages that I chose for today's verbal discussion in regard to what Jesus says about self and in relation to the other, which is people of the world, and I consider self as being a Christian. The first passage is from Mark, and it's the greatest commandment. That's Mark chapter 13, verses 28 to 31, and then John 15, verses 1 through 17, and that's the vine and the branches, which I'll start with the longest one, which is John 15, 1 through 17. And it states, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does not bear fruit, that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I remain in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, and you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire to burn. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My commandment is this: love each other as I've loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I've learned from my Father I've made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. This is my commandment: love each other. And moseying on over to Mark 12, 28 through 31, the greatest commandment. One of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked him, of all the commandments, which is the most important? The most important one, answered Jesus, is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, and with all of your soul, and with all of your mind, and with all of your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. I apologize, I'm a little nervous. So what I gathered from this information, or from these passages rather, is basically in regard to self, the Christian. We must understand that first, in going on the battlefield, which I consider the world, we have to first, as being Christians or becoming Christians, we have to have that love for God. And it's not just a love like I love my husband or I love my wife, my kids. It has to be an unconditional love. As the passage in regard to the vine and the branch, the sacrificial love that God gave his son, and Jesus was willing to go and die for us. We have to have that type of unconditional love for one another, more so for that love for the people in the world. As Christians, we have to understand as well, or we should understand, that there will be scrutiny. How we deal with the scrutiny of others is where we have to remain rooted in the vine. And so with the depiction, the metaphorical statements between the vine and the branch is really what I'm basing my determination on, is because we have to first stay rooted in God. We have to stay rooted in the Word, and we have to understand our faith, and we have to understand, really, just to me, I don't think a lot of people really understand what that means, that sacrificial, unconditional love. We have to have that, as we have no right or authority to judge anyone. When we come against others, or come to others who are against what we believe in, we have to be able to deal with those things, and we have to be able to articulate our beliefs in defense of what they may think. We can't do that aggressively. We can't be aggravated or frustrated. And for that matter, we have to know what we're talking about. And so that's kind of where I came from. And I really believe that being humble are the makings of the best Christian in dealing with people in the world, so that we're not easily influenced also. Those are the main things that we really need to make sure that we have in us, so that our faith isn't wavering by what someone else may think. In critical thinking, we also need to understand, or we also need to be able to find ways of approaching people and bringing them to Christ also. And when we're dealing with people in the world, we need to be able to find those creative ways of bringing the youth, because our youth are our biggest, most impressionable people on this earth, bringing their souls, bringing them and bringing those souls to Christ, as that, I believe, is our purpose, the purpose that God has for us, as we are supposed to be the disciples. But ultimately, in doing these things and growing our spirituality too, we should be in churches and communities and around people who provide that spiritual growth. Constant Sunday service, Sunday schools aren't just enough. At least not for my family. Not, we are very interactive with different forms of Bible teaching, and I think that that's a wonderful blessing to have, because you really, when you're growing up, you learn these things about the Bible, but really knowing your Bible and understanding what our purpose is what makes the difference. Going outside of the Bible and using other spiritual materials, different books by different reverends and other doctrines, also helps to cultivate our spirituality. And so that's kind of what I believe. I hope that you enjoyed my broadcast, and I look forward to your comments. Thanks, guys, and have a blessed rest of your day.